The Sony ULT Field 1 has been my favorite small speaker to use and recommend for the last year because it sounds very full. But now we have the JBL Flip 7, which does have some sound improvements over the JBL Flip 6. Now, both of these speakers are great options to consider if you're looking for a small speaker for summer 2025. But today we are going to compare the JBL Flip 7 to the Sony ULT Field 1, and we're going to see which one's right for you. Regarding pricing, the Sony ULT Field 1 has a retail price of $130, but it does like to go on sale for $100 on a regular basis, whereas the JBL Flip 7 has a retail price of $150, but I do expect this speaker to go on sale as well. Nonetheless, if you want to pick either of these two speakers up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button, and if you want to further support the channel, then you can always pick up some merch. So first, there's the design of these speakers. Now, both the Sony ULT Field 1 and JBL Flip 7 are very portable and durable speakers because they both have a mostly fabric wrap body, so they're going to stand up to constant abuse from bumps and scrapes, and they're both waterproof, so a little bit of water isn't going to hurt either of these two speakers. However, the Sony ULT Field 1 is a little larger than the JBL Flip 7, but you're still going to be able to throw this speaker into your water bottle holder. But the thing that I really like about the ULT Field 1 is that this carrying strap has two different positions. You can either carry the speaker around, you can attach it to your backpack, or you can easily hang it from something. Whereas with the JBL Flip 7, it has this little strap and you can switch it out for a carabiner if you want. So it's also very easy to attach the speaker to your backpack, and you can also very easily carry it around. But personally, I just find that the ULT Field 1's convertible strap is a lot more versatile than what the JBL Flip 7 has going on. So portability wise, I do prefer the ULT Field 1 here. Also, I do want to point out that with the Sony ULT Field 1, it's a little more durable than the JBL Flip 7 because its USB-C port is covered and protected, whereas the USB-C port on the Flip 7 is exposed. Now, you can still get the Flip 7 wet without any problems, but before you can actually charge it back up, you do have to wait for it to properly dry. So if you ever try to charge your Flip 7 and the indicator light on the back is blinking red, don't worry, you didn't break it, you just need to wait for it to dry off. Whereas this isn't an issue for the ULT Field 1 because its USB-C port is covered. Now, I know that this is a very specific problem, but it is something that I have had to deal with in the past, and I just want to let anybody know that's actually considering getting these speakers to take them to the beach or to the lake. I just want you to have a heads up. Now, when it comes to battery life, the Sony ULT Field 1 has an advertised battery life of 12 hours, whereas the JBL Flip 7 has an advertised battery life of 14 hours, and both of these speakers have a stamina mode, so you can always extend their battery lives even more, but they're going to sound very flat because their stamina modes are basically just going to reduce their bass. But real-world use with both of these speakers playing at 80% volume, and this is with the ULT feature turned on the ULT Field 1. The ULT Field 1 is going to be good for around 7 hours of playback time, and the JBL Flip 7 is going to be good for around 8 hours of playback time. Not bad. And like I mentioned earlier, both of these speakers charge via a USB-C port as they should. However, the JBL Flip 7 does not come included with a USB-C cable, whereas the Sony ULT Field 1 does. However, with the JBL Flip 7, you can also use its USB-C ports as a wired connection. However, unlike the USB-C port on both of these speakers' larger counterparts, like either the JBL Charge 6 or the Sony ULT Field 3, you cannot use these USB-C ports to charge your own device, which is understandable because these speakers are much smaller. But when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, both of these speakers can be connected to two devices at the same time, so you and a friend can both be DJ. Latency is not an issue for either of these two speakers, so you can use them to watch videos with on your phone. And when it comes to audio codecs, both the JBL Flip 7 and the Sony ULT Field 1 have support for SBC and AAC. But wait, if you want to further support the channel, then check out our affiliate partner, Manscaped. Manscaped has a trimmer for any of your grooming needs. First off, there's the Handyman, which is a compact face shaver. There's the upgraded Lawnmower 4.0 Pro, which charges via a USB-C port and it still has wireless charging, but more importantly, it has a new upgraded and stronger motor. There's also the Lawnmower 5.0, which also has the same great upgraded motor, plus it also comes included with a foil if you want to get a skin-tight shave. There's also the Dome Saver Pro, which has 5 double-track blade heads. It's easy to clean, and it also charges via a USB-C port, or it also has wireless charging. And finally, there's the Chairman Pro, which is my personal favorite. It not only feels super premium, but it also has 2 interchangeable heads, so either you can get a skin-tight shave, or you can leave the right amount of stubble. No matter your needs, Manscaped has a shaver for you, so check out Manscaped in the link down below. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Regarding speaker setup, both of these speakers have a front-mount firing woofer, a front-mount firing tweeter, and dual pass radiators that shoot out the sides. And the fact that both of these speakers have a woofer and tweeter setup is a big deal, because this is normally reserved for more premium speakers now, and this is going to help with your overall instrument separation. So like you may have just seen, the woofer handles the mids and the tweeter handles the highs, and this is just going to help your speakers sound more open. But now we're going to go ahead and jump into the sound test. Now both of these speakers are running with their stock EQs. So the JBL Flip 7 is playing with its JBL signature EQ, and the Sony ULT Field 1 is playing with its ULT feature turned on. And we're going to be using both of these speakers at 75% volume and at max volume.
We both know it right away. I came here to party, don't want it to end. Getting real ecstatic. We both know it right away. When I see you dancing, I know you're a 10. It's
So, like you may have just heard, I genuinely feel that the Sony ULT Field 1 sounds better than the JBL Flip 7, both at 75% volume and especially at max volume. With the Sony ULT Field 1, the speaker sounds a lot fuller and a lot more defined in the mids, and it also has more bass. And Sony has just been working on improving on the mids and the overall sound pressure on all of their speakers, starting with the Sony ULT Field 1 all the way up to the ULT Field 7. Whereas with the JBL Flip 7, yes, this speaker sounds good, but I can't help but feel that the mids sound a little hollow, and at max volume, the speaker sounds overly bright because the bass just isn't able to keep up. And like I mentioned in past videos, I feel that JBL is pushing their Flip 7 and Charge 6 a little too hard, because at max volume, sometimes you might hear a little distortion in the highs. Now, I know it didn't happen in this sound test, but I have experienced it on rare occasions. So sound quality wise, I do feel that the Sony ULT Field 1 sounds noticeably better than the JBL Flip 7. And then there's the max volume performance on these speakers. Now these two speakers get equally as loud as one another, and I feel that these two speakers are going to be good for like an 8-person get-together if you actually have that many friends. But even if you're going to just listen to your speaker alone, I do feel that the Sony ULT Field 1 does give you a fuller listening experience. But finally, let's talk about pairing these speakers up with other speakers. Now, with both of these speakers, if you have two of the exact same speakers, then you can wirelessly pair them up and get them to play in left to right stereo mode. So you're gonna have one speaker for your left channel and another speaker for your right channel. Now, like I mentioned before, I love the Sony ULT Field 1 and I prefer it over the JBL Flip 7. But where Sony really dropped the ball with this speaker is that it doesn't have Party Connect. So you can't pair it up with any of Sony's other speakers that are using Party Connect, like either an ULT Field 7 or an XG500, XG300, XE300, XE200, or to an XB43, XB33, XB23, or to an ULT Field 5, which is sick, or to an ULT Field 3, and you also can't pair it up to any of Sony's larger box speakers either. Whereas the JBL Flip 7 is using Auracast, so you can pair it up to other JBL speakers that are also using Auracast, like either a Charge 6 or an Extreme 4, or to another Flip 7, or to a Clip 5, or to a Go 4, or to any of JBL's newer party boxes, which are also using Auracast, like either a Party Box Encore 2, Party Box 120, 320, 520, or a Party Box Ultimate. And also with Auracast, you can pair your JBL Flip 7 to non-JBL speakers that are also using Auracast. So with the JBL Flip 7, it's a lot more versatile if you plan on growing your collection of speakers. However, with the JBL Flip 7, you cannot pair it up to any of JBL's older speakers that are using Party Boost. Only the JBL Extreme 4 can connect to both Auracast speakers and Party Boost speakers, and I don't know if the JBL Flip 7 will be getting a firmware update in the future so that it can also do this. So if you already have any of JBL's older speakers that are using Party Boost, then you might want to spring for the Extreme 4. So with all that being said, both the JBL Flip 7 and the Sony ULT Field 1 are great small portable Bluetooth speakers to consider. However, I do prefer the Sony ULT Field 1 here because this speaker sounds fuller across the board because the mids are more defined, it has more bass, and distortion is never a problem. And I also think that its convertible carrying strap is a lot more versatile than what the JBL Flip 7 has going on. However, Sony really dropped the ball with the ULT Field 1 because it doesn't have Party Connect. So if you plan on growing your collection of speakers, you can only connect it up to one other ULT Field 1. So if you do plan on growing your collection of speakers in the future, or if you have friends that also have speakers, then you might want to go with the JBL Flip 7 because it does have Auracast. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.